So the key point of this video is to tie together these mathematical understandings of the targeted revenue you want to achieve with your Amazon business and seeing how that plays out at a dynamic level and at a product level for what you need to do on a monthly, daily, and product basis to achieve that. We're also going to look at a cash flow example because cash flow is king, and really understanding the mechanics of cash flow and how that plays out, both in terms of its ability to impede or accelerate your growth on Amazon. So starting out here with this first tab on the growth calculator tab, this yellow item here, basically you can input any number or goal you want. So in this case, it's $1 million annual goal, and that gives us a monthly target and it gives us a daily target. If we run this down here, you can basically see the monthly sales per product needed, and then how many of those products are needed to hit this particular annual goal. So said another way, if you wanted to run at $5,000 monthly sales per product levels, which is a little bit more on the low end, less competitive, you would basically need to have 16.7 products generating 164 sales per day, and you'd have to launch about 4 of those a quarter to hit this product level in a year. If you wanted to go down here to the bottom and look at, say, a $30,000 price point level, you need 2.8 products doing $986 a day, and you need to launch about 1.7 per quarter. So this kind of breaks down an annual goal into a monthly target and a daily target, and then for different monthly revenue levels per product, it'll let you know how many products you basically need to be running at any one time to hit that annual target. And let's say that you were a little bit more bodacious. I don't even know if that's a word that's relevant here, but it sounds kind of cool. So let's say you're bodacious and want to have a $4 million a year Amazon business. You basically need to be running at $333,000 a month, $11,000 a day, and then this is how many products you need to hit at various revenue levels to hit your goal. So if you want to be running lean and have less products to do a $30,000 amount month, you need to be running 11 of those products, launching 2.8 of them per quarter to achieve that. So this is just a really cool little calculator that you can use to kind of calculate various goals. If you want to edit this and do customizations, just go down here to File and then make a copy and then save your own copy that you can edit. You will not have edit access to this particular file. Looking at unit sales, this is another tab that just kind of helps you visualize what your unit sales are at different product price points. I think one of the sweet spots for most, call it beginner to heavy intermediate level, is going to be that $10,000 to $20,000 per month revenue rate per product level. Obviously, if you've got a higher budget, if you've got a higher appetite for risk, or you're more experienced, getting into the $100,000+ per month product level is certainly doable. But I think for most folks looking at launches and to do it in a risk mitigated way, that $10,000 to $20,000 range is the sweet spot. And this just shows you for different price points from $30 to $75, how many units per day you basically need to be running at to hit those levels. So another kind of way to look at it in terms of price point and sweet spot for monthly sales. Now let's look at the cash flow example. I'm going to go ahead and reduce this a little bit so it's a little bit easier to see. I'm able to do 75%. So this takes a typical product that's doing $10,000 a month, and it looks at a typical price point of $30 per unit. And then it looks at the average kind of unit sales per day to get to that 10,000. And it looks at the average monthly sales of that product to get to 10,000 at that price point. And it assumes some pretty down the middle stats, COGS, or the cost of the product, being 25%, the fulfillment from Amazon being about 11%, and then about a 15% spend on Amazon pay-per-click. And this just really plays out what the cash flow, the cash starting and the cash ending per month looks like if you were to deploy a product with these kind of mechanics. Again, broad strokes, it's not going to be for everybody, but it gives you a bit of an example. So first of all, to start out, you've got to order, a couple months worth of product to start off. So this is just kind of your upfront product costs. You're going to spend $7,400 on product. So your starting cash is basically negative. And then let's assume that you're running at about that $10,000 monthly run rate. This kind of just shows the revenue kind of steady state. Obviously, you might start out a little bit smaller and gain a little bit more over time. So this is a simplistic example, assuming that you're going to be $10,000 right out the gate. You've got Amazon referral fees that are going to be deducted from that revenue, and then you've got the fulfillment fees to ship to end customers that's going to be deducted from that. You've also got this pay-per-click that goes on a monthly basis, assuming 15%. So the net cash that you have left to go buy more product in this case is $5,800. So because you had to start out by spending $7,400 on new product and you only took home $5,800, you're actually still cash flow negative after that first month. And here's the trick with Amazon. Even if you found success, so in this case, you've kind of hit the ground running and you're starting to sell $10,000 a month, your next month, or even sometimes within your first month, you've got to place an order for your second product before you've generated enough cash here to order more product. So this is where the cash flow crunch comes in. So you're only ending with negative $1,500 cash. You now have to go out again and order more product. So your net starting point after month 2 is negative $9,000. And then you kind of start humming down through here and you're still negative. But then here in month 4 is where you basically have net positive cash flow. So if you remember that product life cycle in terms of when you're able to spit off enough cash to buy product without having to use cash reserves or debt, this is an example of that. So you basically have some cash flow here, but then again, you've got to buy more product. So this kind of just shows you the cash in and out that takes place for this product. And let's say after month 6, you want to deploy another product, that's going to dip into cash reserves. And then let's say 6 months after that, you want to launch your third product, that dips into cash. So this is a successful Amazon business. You'll see here that over these 3 products and over these 20 months, you've generated $435,000 in cash, and it's a profitable business. But you can see here the starting and ending cash. You really don't start hitting that sweet spot in this case with 3 products until month 9. And that's really where you're self-sustaining and you're spitting off enough cash. So if you feel under the gun with a new Amazon business and you're under the gun for that first 6 to 12 months, it's normal. This is the cash flow crunch of a physical products brand. And this is some of the mechanics that play into your cash in and out that you're going to be up against, especially in those early stages until you start to hit this equilibrium. Once you hit this equilibrium, again, keeping in mind those compounding effects that happen and all of a sudden you start to hockey stick, that's when you start to really generate cash, spit off cash. And this is the period where you can really start to grow your Amazon business. All of this obviously assumes that you're not using the smart debt or smart capital to be able to grow your Amazon brand. We will get into that in additional videos later on in the course. But I wanted to start out just by understanding or mapping out an understanding of what cash flow looks like in an Amazon business, especially how difficult it can be that first 6 months. And so you need to be aware of it, you need to budget for it, and you need to know going in how this scales into a cash flow machine and how long it takes to get into a cash flow machine. So this is the Heist Growth Calculator. Hopefully you can use it to pinpoint your own goals, to mathematically define the number of products and the revenue level of products you want to go after, and then having a deeper understanding of how the cash flow implications are going to come into effect with your ability to add new products and to scale your cash flows.